SAS demonstration video bringing SPSS files into SAS. There may be times when you have an SPSS dataset that you want to bring into SAS to do your analyses. This is a straightforward operation now that we know how to work with permanent SAS datasets. So currently I have SPSS open and I'm looking at an SPSS dataset called BB_disease, which stands for benign breast disease. So this is a dataset that I've used in the past for analyses. And I now want to bring this dataset into SAS. So in SPSS, to do that, we are going to go to File, Save As. What we want to do is save this file as a permanent SAS dataset. So I want to save this dataset to my flash drive. And again, I'm going to call it BB_disease. And instead of saving it as an SPSS file, I'm going to look at the file choices and scroll down until I get to the file choice SAS Windows Long Extension. So the extension is now going to be that SAS7BDAT, which is the extension we know is for a permanent SAS dataset. And then I'm just going to click Save and save the file. And again, I want it to be to my flash drive. Now I'm back in SAS and I have a permanent SAS dataset. And so once I've saved the dataset as a permanent SAS dataset, in SAS I'm going to read it in as I taught you in the previous video. I need to use a libname statement, and I have a file ref, SSD, and I'm telling SAS to find the permanent SAS dataset in the E directory. And then I'm going to do a proc contents on my new SAS permanent dataset. So again, I'm referring to it with the two-level name ssd.bb_disease. So again, the permanent SAS dataset benign breast disease is stored in the E directory, and I'm using the file ref to tell SAS where to find it. So if I run this code, we see here's the contents of the dataset. There were 200 observations, and here's an alphabetical listing of the variables and the attributes of the dataset. Again, what's really nice with working with a permanent SAS dataset is I can immediately run procedures on that dataset without having any data step that reads in the data. So here I'm doing a proc means on a variable AGMN, which stands for Age of Menarche. There's another way to bring an SPSS file into SAS, and I recommend this method only when you have been given an SPSS file that's been saved as a portable dataset. And so if someone gives you an SPSS file with the extension POR, then in SAS you will need to use proc convert to convert the SPSS dataset to a SAS dataset. For example, the American National Election Studies data are often provided as SPSS portable files. And in general, public policy and social research data can also come as SPSS portable files. So notice the code here is slightly different from the code above. We start with a file name statement instead of a libname statement. And again, we have a file ref, and the file ref tells us where to locate this portable SPSS dataset, which I've already saved onto my flash drive. And then we have the statement proc convert. The SPSS file that we want to convert is called bbdata, which is the same as the file reference, and the output file that we want to create is called bbdisease. So here, in this example, I'm creating a temporary SAS dataset, bbdisease, from this portable SPSS dataset, bb_disease. You would want to use this method if you've been given a portable SPSS dataset. If you were taking your own SPSS dataset and wanting to bring it into SAS, then I recommend saving it as a permanent SAS dataset. But so just to show you how proc convert works, basically you just run this code and we do a proc contents, and you see here that now we are looking at a temporary data set that was created from proc convert. It's called work.bbdisease. It has 200 observations. If we scroll up to the original proc contents that I did. Here we are looking at the permanent SAS data set that we had created from SPSS called BB_disease. So there are two different methods of bringing an SPSS file into SAS. Both of the methods are straightforward. This concludes the demonstration on bringing in SPSS files to SAS.